Watching videos online of how millionaires make their wealth, their answer typically stems from the whole premise of doing what others aren't able to do, being someone who others basically fear or lack the capability to become. And this is extremely important right now for all of us in crypto to understand with some very key points. Now, namely, we're seeing a massive crash in the market, or at least a correction that is second-guessing people because we've only been seeing green on the last, basically, 6 to 8 weeks. Now, I'm here to tell you there is a multitude of reasons why we could see prices going a lot lower, but mainly, in today's video, I want to explain to you what I plan to do to capitalize on this dip, and if we go even lower, how I actually plan to become one of those very few people who can claim and tell the story of how brave I was in times of uncertainty. But before we get into how that can actually happen, I want to just touch on some of the news that might perpetuate, aka just might make the news a whole lot worse and give us an even larger dip, which actually wouldn't be a bad thing for us at all. So there's three major things. First of all, if you guys saw my live stream this morning, you know I already spoken about Senator Elizabeth Warren. She is, of course, coming after crypto, and she's now pushing this bill onto more congressmen and women. Based in the finance realm now, she's trying to regulate crypto, and I think we all know that she's not coming from a place of kindness, or at least clarity. She's coming really from an angle of, I want to burn the industry to the ground. Now, whether that really is a catalyst or not, I don't think so. I think, if anything, that's only going to make things a little bit worse. Where I really feel like the big struggle might actually come from is two major things. First of all, is that Bitcoin and crypto, we've had 8 weeks consecutively of nothing but green candles, which the last time this happened, we had a negative 37% decrease on the week, right? So there is a possible looming cloud of danger that is coming, right? And so I want you guys to remember that as well. Historically, we also do have anywhere between 40 to 50% dips before the Bitcoin halving as well. So there is a lot of things stacking up to say that. And I think, and my third point here, what will actually make that worse is the Bitcoin ETFs. Now, I think they're going to be approved on January the 10th. A lot of other people do as well, and it does look like it actually will happen, or at least in March. But the really big upset that, if you watched my video last night, you would know from that $100 billion asset manager, Van Eck, one of their predictions was that we'll only really see about $1 billion worth of inflows over the coming days after they're approved, and then about $2.4 billion in the first quarter of 2021. Overall, $40 billion over the next 2 years. So that really, of course, isn't enough to actually increase Bitcoin to what I had presumed of going this up to about, its previous all-time high. What they have said is Bitcoin shouldn't fall beneath $35,000 though. So yes, that is a very good thing, but that still lines up with a possible 25 to 30% retracement. Now that I have those three concerns out the way and we're on a very equal playing field, I want to now jump over to the computer and actually give you guys a very clear strategy in terms of at least what I'm doing right now to capitalize from this dip. But also, and I think most importantly, especially for you people who haven't experienced a bull run before and therefore violent drops, how to prepare for a looming crash, how to prepare for something that might drop the overall market by hundreds of billions of dollars, and of course, altcoins by a lot more. It's something that psychologically is very difficult to overcome, again, especially if you're only used to green like we've been seeing the last few months, and you mentally are not prepared for a massive and sudden, negative 10, 25% day. But that said, let's go. So it is very important when we're looking at these sort of things, and when you're trying to eye off if you should buy altcoins, the first thing you should do is, of course, assess the news. Now, I've already shared the news with you today, so we're not going to go ahead and do that, but I did want to just quickly show you the chart that I was introduced to that kind of reflected the idea of, hey, we've had 8 weeks of green. We have seen this once before, and it was not good, at least what came after. And of course, this was mentioned by this gentleman, Crypto Kid. Yes, he is a 16-year-old kid, but that doesn't really mean much anymore. Everyone is technically, there's no barrier to entry anymore, right? We're having 16-year-olds making more money than most of us have ever had before. But he says this, and I think we can take it with a grain of salt, and again, just apply it to what might come next. I do think possibly the biggest catalyst for any sort of dip is, again, those Bitcoin ETFs not being as wow factor as people thought. We also have an inflation over in the US getting worse, and the CPI coming out in the next few days anyway. So that could be even a lot more worse, a bigger catalyst. So with that all being said, I want to just kind of introduce something he mentioned as well when he pointed out this over here. He said that we've seen it before and we corrected again about 39%. Now, I'm not going to drag down 39%. That was his Bitcoin chart. This is the global crypto market cap. I'm going to give a much more realistic, I believe, idea and interpretation of what we might actually see here. These three key levels, I believe, might actually be hit. 15% drop from the current price, 20% and 25%. That'll put the global market cap at respectively 1.3 trillion, 1.2 trillion, and 1.15 trillion. That is extremely scary to look at for those of you who want nothing but green, but for me, that's very promising, right? Good DCA moments as we have established. Now, here's the thing, and this is how I am going to be capitalizing on these cheaper prices right now, okay? So again, the first thing any of you guys should have, like literally the very first thing, is you should have all of your altcoins in a visible portfolio where you can have an aggregate of all the prices, okay? So I use CoinMarketCap in this case, very easy to use, free to sign up to. I'm not sponsored, of course, but it is some way in which I've pretty much always tracked my coins, okay? Now, in this case, this is my personal portfolio. Now, I haven't bought all these coins, but what I've said from the day dot here is the best way you can always gauge whether it's a good time to buy and what altcoin to buy is not by clicking and looking at any other time frame apart from the 7-day, right? So these are all my coins ranking from highest to lowest market caps. We're just going to drop down 7%, okay? That's going to give us the top performer in the last week right through to the worst performers. And I'm not going to worry about these high percentages. We're going to see these quite a lot coming into the next 2 years. What I'm mainly obsessed with here is the bottom ones, right? The ones that haven't really moved, that are moving sideways or down. My biggest thing I've said is that if an altcoin is down or around up 5% to down 10% on the weekly, that typically is a good gauge to say, hey, something might be good or worth buying here, okay? Now, in this case, we have 3 projects or 4 projects in this realm. We have Near Protocol, Pith Network, XDC, and Illuvium, okay? So, of course, the first place I'm checking is the highest and then going down to the lowest, aka saving the best possibly for last. Here's the thing. If we open Near Protocol, and you will find this a lot coming into the bull run, is that while the 7-day, yes, we are technically only 5% up from the open, and yes, as you can see, that's pretty good. That's not too bad at all. If we click the 1 year, okay, things look a lot scarier. Even the 1 month, okay? So you want to be very careful when you go to look at a 7-day here. That's only an indicator as to where to begin next. On the contrary, you might have an altcoin that's up 20% on the 7-day, but still significantly down. That's also a good reason to go through and have a look. It's actually one of the reasons why I tell you guys 10 minutes per altcoin per day. But what I want you to do in this case is click the 12 months because we're luckily right now able to do this as it's the last 12 months basically being the bear market, and just hover over the current price or where it is now and use this dotted gray line to just get an idea of where we have been in the last 12 months. Now, in the case of Near Protocol and many other projects, what I would do is use that line as a, okay, anything above this, what's the percent? Anything below it, what's the percent? And in this case, basically, we've been about 10% above that line and 90% below, which means, again, if you close your eyes and pick a random point along this timeline over the last 12 months, you have a 90% chance of buying in cheaper than right now, which is not a good thing. I aim for about 50% or less, okay, so 50-50. So basically, if we were pretty much on the open over here at $1.60, would be a decent time to buy, at least given the fact that the bear market is basically a lot lower than what price has been in the past, as you can see here. So again, considerably lower than these all-time highs, but this is a very good rule of thumb and how you can assess your projects and go, okay, am I FOMO buying or is this a reasonable buy? Now, on my live stream I had earlier today, I had a gentleman in which I went through this exact process with. He was wanting to buy a project and I just simply said to him, like, if you are someone that of course wants to buy at a time like this, yes, you can zoom out even further and yes, you can say to yourself, wow, you know, $2.30 I can get in now. We're going to at least hit the all-time high again. That's a good 10x or so. That is a good 10x. Most of us want a bit more and most of us don't want to like just scrape that 10x buy, where it could be a 50-50 risk to reward. We're just rolling the dice essentially, right? We're not playing that sort of casino-based game. What we want to do is take educated guesses here, or at least have the risk and the reward in our favor, just like any good trader would. So in this case, you are forced to wait for a retracement. Now, you know, if you're someone looking for a 30-40x for your projects, then Near Protocol might not be on the cards at all, even at $1 down here. So it definitely is unfeasible at $2.30, okay? And to put that into perspective, let's just run some numbers through for you all, okay? This is the exact same scenario I've said many times, I think Near Protocol will actually hit $30, actually a lot more in the bull run. So let's run it through. If I bought $10,000 worth of Near Protocol at $1, which I almost actually did, I bought about half that, and we sell it $30, well, we get an initial exit of $300,000 rather, and total profit of, well, minus the cost basis of 10 grand, we profit $290K. But if you were someone who FOMO'd into Near Protocol right now, and again, this applies for all your altcoins that you might be looking at a similar chart with, and you bought in at $2.30, again, current price, $10,000, but you sell again at $30 as well, well, the difference here is staggering, right? Your total profit is $120,000, and again, mine is $290,000. That is more than, again, 2x up because I'm down 2x. So this has, well, it might not seem like a very significant move up to the upside. When you extrapolate it out, it is magnitudes more, right? So it pays to just wait. And again, if you're someone looking for a 30x in Near Protocol, right, or any coin, right? Yes, buying at $1 at the bottom is great. You're in. But over here, you're really risking it, and you should just bite the bullet and find a new altcoin. Now, don't get me wrong. This watch list right here is my still to buy. These are the coins I haven't yet filled my bags completely with, or ones that I haven't even started yet. For example, Immutable X, I haven't even started. ICP, haven't even started. Celestia, Illuvium, Cedarfire, PokerStarter, Pith, and Marinade, haven't started. These are on my watch list. I am waiting for a retracement. But as of right now, they just aren't optimal. My buy-in prices are not fantastic, maybe except for Pith. I'm a little bit of a stickler for trying to buy as low as possible. So again, this is where the next part of the conversation comes in. What happens next? How to prepare for a big dip? Because ultimately, I think, as I said, right now it's fairly simple, right? You can zoom out on CoinMarketCap, you can have a look at the 7-day and make a pretty good judgment yourself. Don't FOMO buy, hit your ROI goals, work back from your main dream goal by 2026 and figure it all out. But again, what happens if we go lower? Well, it's very simple. In crypto, we have two types of bags. We have our main bags and we have our small bags. Our main bags are the ones we fill right up to about 12 to 15 months away from the next bull run top, which I've predicted and many others to be October, November 2025. So again, what we do is forecast back 12 months, give us about 3 to 4 months buffer. And that means we basically have about June to July 2024 to get our main bags filled. These are the bags in which you want to minimize as much tax as possible, therefore get rid of something very important. You should familiarize yourself with this term, capital gains tax. You can save yourself a lot of money if you don't get taxed with capital gains if you hold over 12 months. Again, we try to have a little bit of a buffer here as well of 3 to 4 months. And in this case, these are our main bags. Now, you can come over here and look at your projects, right? And look, again, they're up. I can't buy any of them. That's fine. We DCA. These prices over here for Pith Network, again, if I kind of bring these down by way of the best performers, the worst performers, you know, Illuvium, Pith Network, they're all able to be dollar cost averaged into. Arguably even Celestia, they're all actually arguably able to be dollar cost averaged into. And again, we are exposing ourselves to the assets so that we can stop buying these in 6 to 7 months, which is when we should, again, do this. Now, we have also the small bags over here. Now, for some of you like myself, holding $10,000, $20,000 worth of cash right now, thinking, I've got to buy before they might go up again. We want to get another chance. Yes, you should mostly be in crypto right now, not financial advice. It's much better to be, again, 90% in crypto with 10% of cash on the side than it is to be the other way around right now. But again, you have these small bags, that 10%, in which you can wait for well and truly into 2025 for things like speculation bets, new coins, even degen plays, right? Maybe even you want to continue dollar cost averaging into your main bags. But either way, you're going to get taxed at a higher rate with these ones, so you can afford to play around a little bit more with that. But either way, when this dip does come, and if it does come, you are going to be playing it absolutely perfectly if you begin dollar cost averaging into projects, again, around plus 5% all the way down to, of course, again, 10% or even less, of course, on the 7-day with all your projects. Again, dollar cost averaging, you win time and time again. It's a proven strategy. So everyone, with that being said, I thank you all for your time today. Let me know what you think down below. And again, please just take into consideration all these possibilities and then use it how you want to. All right. It's all about knowledge and your own sort of ability to mold and bend with the market. Thanks so much. Talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye.